Hey, what's up, you guys? Bringing another action figure review to you. And this is a figure I did not think I was going to get. When I initially saw it, I slept on it. Now, this isn't a single release figure. So that's part of the reason I wasn't going to get it. Because this figure is part of a 3-pack. It's part of the Clayface and Batwoman 3-pack. So you get this Batman, you get a McFarlane Batwoman, and you get the reissued McFarlane Clayface. So the Batwoman I was not impressed with, and I'll explain why later. And the Clayface I already owned, so I wasn't going to re-get Clayface. But I'm a sucker for Batman, and especially those of you who new to my channel, I am an extreme sucker for Rebirth Batman. He's my favorite incarnation of Batman. It's my favorite Batman suit ever. There's been a lot of Batman suits out of the years, but this is the one I love the most. Batman Rebirth. Um, and when I first saw the figure, I was intrigued. The colors looked really nice. It is a reissue. Of course it is. It's the exact same figure as the previous one with some minor differences, which you can see and we'll go over and we'll get into. But I couldn't help myself. I changed my mind about this figure. I said I had to get it, and I got it. And I'm actually very happy that I did, because there are some pretty good differences. I mean, they're not too significant. They're not like big, huge changes, but the minor changes that are there with this figure are really good. They're really good. So, I never thought I would review another Rebirth Batman figure. When I first did my review, I read this, but this time I won't read it. I'll just let y'all. And who doesn't know about Batman's origins, right? So this is my old card that I have from the old Rebirth Batman, and I put it up there for nostalgic reasons. And I put it back in the slot because I couldn't do it on camera. So let's get into this figure. So this figure is awesome. This figure is awesome. This figure is, well, it was already a great figure. McFarlane just took a great figure that was already great, and they pretty much amplified it, except one minor nitpick that I have, and that's this: the belt. They did not put the color in the belt, and that bugs the hell out of me. That was another big reason I was going to pass on this figure, because it's just, when I think about Rebirth Batman, he has the coloring in his belt. Now, some artists did draw him like this, I will admit. Some did draw him like this without, I'll just bring in the other Rebirth Batman, without these lines. But I just feel like these lines add so much more. So anyway, since we're doing a comparison, since I already broke out the other figure, let's get into it. So, head sculpts. Now, I feel, if my stupid camera could focus, give me a second here, there we go. Now, I feel that there's some improvements here. First of all, in complexion. So you could pretty much see right off the bat, no pun intended, that in complexion wise, there is a significant difference. And I actually like the new complexion on this figure. I like it a lot. I do. Also, his eyes. They made his eyes a little smaller, a little squintier. If you could look closely and tell with this figure, his eyes is a little more wider than this figure. I like that detail as well. The ears look about the same, but for some reason, to me, the ears look a little more slim, a little more trimmed in these ears. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just reading too much into nothing. Both have the raised emblem, which is awesome. It's the same exact body, as you can see, from head to toe. It's the same exact body. McFarlane is not going to give you a new body. They're going to use something that already exists and works. And now another thing, you probably can't tell in this lighting, but this cape, the purple in this one is a little darker than this one. It's a little slight minor detail, but I like that as well. And obviously the big difference besides the belt is the gray. So this is a much darker gray. This is a much lighter gray. Same gloves, as you can see, gauntlets, all of that. The same cape. It's the same exact figure, head to toe, with some minor upgrades and changes. Legs, you can see, same belt. Still got the diaper under rules, but it's a little less noticeable on this figure because of the gray, because of the color scheme here. The under rules, the little diaper here. I mean, you still can notice it when you look at it like closely, but from a distance, you don't notice it as much. I mean, you don't notice it as much with this one either, but you know, I think it's a little more noticeable on this figure because the diaper is gray. The gray here is a little lighter than the rest of him. But with this one, it just kind of melds together more better. The boots are the same, as you can see. What ain't broke, don't fix it. It's working. Same ball hinges. Has the same exact articulation. Yeah, so I mean, basically up and down the same figure. It is a re-release, a reissue, just with some minor tweaks to it. But I really do appreciate the flesh tone on this one. Because here he looks a little more pale. I guess if I had another minor quip, it would probably be the design of his lips. I think his lips are too... I mean, it still works. I still like it. But I think the lips sculpted here is better than how the way they sculpted it here. But I guess with that kind of complexion, maybe they had to do that. But it still works though. So overall, I still say that this is a better head sculpt than this one. And I still love this head sculpt, by the way. I'm not knocking it. I also think that the head size is a little different too. I think the head on this body looks a little more better proportioned than this one. And another tip, you can't see under his nose on this figure, but on this figure you can. You can see his nostrils, which is really cool. So way to go, McFarlane. You get brownie points for that. So, you know, but like I said, my biggest pet peeve, if they would have sculpted, if they would have added this, the lines, the paint in this belt and added here, oh my god, this would have been a 10 out of 10. So I gave this figure, I recently looked back over my old video just to remember, because I forgot what I gave this figure. Since Rebirth Batman is like my favorite Batman of all time, I was really hyped and I gave this figure a 9. I probably should have gave this figure an 8 or maybe an 8.5, but I gave him a 9. So, in regards to accessories, they both still have the same set of accessories. They both still have the same grapple and the same battering. So there's nothing new there. There is nothing new there at all. And just to show, as you can see, they both have the same grapple. And they both have the same grapple. But this one, on this new Rebirth figure, kind of has like a brownish gold to it. And I guess that's because he's fighting Clayface or whatever is going on. I don't really know why they decided to do that, but it's like a brownish gold with the new Rebirth's battering. And as you can see, they both hold in their batterings. Same thing. So, yes, definitely is a reissue. I'll be saying that a lot in this video, but it is. You definitely know what you're getting. Now, it's not really necessary for me to go into articulation, but since this will probably be my last time reviewing a Batman Rebirth figure, I don't know unless McFarlane makes another one that I like, but I pretty like this one very much. All the upgrades, even though very minimal, but the changes made to this figure are definitely for the better, except for one thing, the belt. Anyway, I'll go into articulation anyway, even though I did it in my previous video. Head goes up, head goes down, tilt, a lot of range, a lot of attitude, a lot of motion all the way around. You can hear that clicking. His arms go up about that much. It can do full 360 rotation. Upper bicep swivel. Doubly jointed elbows. Wrist hinge rotation. Butterfly joint as well. Pivoting. A lot of upper ball peg and upper torso movement, as you can see. Pivoting, like I said, all the way around if you so choose. And also the lower as well. See, this is the upper ball peg that can go all the way around. And this is the lower ball peg that can go all the way around as well. And also more pivoting. And you can crunch all the way that far back. You can crunch all the way that far forward. You can do the Batman splits or the Jean-Claude Van Damme splits, I like to say. You can kick forward about that much. You can kick back about that much. A slight thigh rotation, no boot rotation. Doubly jointed knees. He does have a swivel and ball joint in the foot. It can pivot, move side to side, left and right, all the way around. Toe articulation and ankle pivot. So it's pretty good articulation for Batman, no doubt about it. Pretty good. Oh, I almost forgot about this. So the gappage here is definitely more noticeable on this figure. On this figure, you don't notice it as much because it's a darker color, which worked. But for this figure, it is definitely more noticeable. So that is a knock for me, for sure. But I already knew that was going to happen because this body is a reuse. So that is the articulation. Whoops. Made it fall. All right. So since I got all that stuff out the way and we 12 minutes in, how about we do some size comparisons, which I did in my previous video, but I'm just going to do it again for the sake of doing it, I guess. So let's do it. All right, so first we have him stand up and paired next to a DC McFarlane Red Hood, which I love this Red Hood very, very much. Love this Red Hood. Absolutely dynamite. It's my favorite Red Hood figure that I have in my collection. And yeah. And next we have him next to his son, Damian Wayne. I think this is a DC Universe, DC Classics, DC Direct. I can't remember. I think it's DC Direct though. And this is Damian Wayne Robin. It's the only Damian Wayne that I have. I don't have the McFarlane one yet. I might get it. Think about getting it. I don't know. And here we have Batman next to his cousin, Kate Kane, Batwoman. And okay, so I'll get into what I was saying earlier. I don't like the McFarlane Batwoman. I mean, there's good things about the figure, but there's a lot of bad. And it's a lot of bad reuse. They reuse the Catwoman's body, and it looks like she has 2 sets of boots on. I mean, it don't look like she has 2 sets of boots on, but, well, it doesn't, but it does at the same time, if that makes sense. You have to look at other people's review who reviewed the 3-pack, but when I saw that, I was disgusted. I was like, this is the worst, laziest version of reuse I have ever seen. Now, this is a figure done properly right here. Batwoman, Mattel went out with a bang. They made a very excellent Batwoman. I love her face sculpt. I love her body. I did a review of her, so you guys can more than feel free to check that review out. But I love this Batwoman, and I am not replacing her with the McFarlane DC Multiverse one unless they make a better one. And they will have to include a Kate Kane civilian head, because this figure comes with that. So if that's not happening, I'm not collecting a McFarlane Batwoman. Sorry, but no. And we have Batman next to Ghostmaker, and this is an extraordinary figure. This figure, when I still look at this, figure, I'm still amazed how McFarlane pulled this off. This figure is absolutely brilliant. I don't remember what the rating was I gave him, but I remember it was very high. It was either a 9.5 or 10. It had to be, because this figure is just absolutely brilliant. This Ghostmaker figure. Anyway. That's Batman Rebirth next to Ghostmaker. And of course, we got Batman Rebirth next to Clayface. And I still love this Clayface. Now, I'll admit, the one from the 3-pack that comes with this Batman Rebirth, I'll admit, from what I've seen, it probably is better. It has like a lighter brown paint to it, and I think his eyes have a lighter color of yellow and texture to it. So the new 3-pack one probably is a better upgrade, but I still wasn't going to do it. I just wasn't. I still love this Clayface figure. It's still great to me, and it's still going to continue to be great. So yeah. All right, and here's my version of the 3-pack. Batman, Batwoman, and Clayface. And look how awesome this is. I did not have to buy the 3-pack. I brought the Batman Rebirth alone, and I have Batwoman and I have Clayface already, and look how wonderful this is. This is great. So I am losing nothing. I did not need to buy that 3-pack. I am losing nothing. I wanted the Rebirth Batman because I like the upgrades that was made to him. I might interchange his belt. I haven't really decided if I'm going to do that or not, because I really miss having those black lines in his belt, and it's just more accurate to the source material. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not. But yeah, I mean, I still have my 3. So I'm very happy with this figure. Final thoughts coming up. Alright, so my final thoughts on this figure. This figure does a lot of things right. I think it does a lot of things right as far as an upgrade is concerned. Sculpt. I mean, sculpt and everything is a lot of reuse. The sculpting on his belt, the sculpting on his bat shield, I mean his insignia, whatever you want to call it, symbol. I think the only newest part, well, is the lighter color of gray. So there's 2 new parts: the lighter color of gray and the head sculpt. But I think the head sculpt really sells this figure. I think it's really good. I really think they improved his face, and I think they improved the shape of his face too. Like I mentioned earlier, I think I did anyway. His head sculpt seems to just look more better on this body than the previous head sculpt did. So, you know, and like little minor touches, like I said, the inside of his cape with the purple is a little lighter, you know, and I think things really, like I said before, they took a great figure that was already great and they made it better, except for the belt. But I still like the belt, which is shocking. Even without it having those lines in it, like the Rebirth comic and like the previous figure, I still like the belt. The belt still looks good in person. So, this is a really, really solid reissue. This is when you do a reuse and you do it right. Don't, you know, I mean, is it lazy still? Yeah, but it's a good lazy. It's a good kind of lazy, because this figure was already great. Like I said, they took something that was already great and they made some minor tweaks and improvements, and they made the figure better. And in my opinion, after reviewing this figure and looking at both figures, I still love the original Rebirth figure. I still do. But I think I love this one a little more because of those added details that they added with the new head sculpt and the lighter gray and a little bit lighter color in the purple that matches the lighter purple in his cape that matches very well with the rest of the figure. And just, you know, stuff like that works. And the bat symbol is a little I mean, it is the same symbol, but the coloring on it is a little thinner than the original. The original is a little thicker, especially now that I'm looking at it. So yeah, I want to give it. I'm not going to give it a 10. It's not a 10. No matter how much I love Rebirth Batman, but this figure is freaking awesome. I'm not going to give it an 8.5, so I'm stuck between a 9 or a 9.5. I think this is the better version of the Rebirth Batman figure. I do. I should give it a 9 because of the gappage that they still kept. But how can I really blame them for something I knew that they wasn't going to fix in the first place? They wasn't going to give you a new cape because cheap and lazy and reasons. So should I really dock it for that? I might as well dock the original Batman Rebirth for the gappage in the cape. But I was so excited about that figure when I first got it, I gave it a 9. So if I would have looked back on when I scored my original Rebirth Batman, I would probably give it an 8.5 or maybe an 8. And I would give this one a 9. But since I already gave that one a 9, and since I feel like this version is the superior version of that version of Batman, I'm going to give this a 9.5. Just for the reason of how good the head sculpt is. They really improved it. Bruce has more of a complexion in his face. He doesn't look as pale. There's more detail in his eyes. They made his eyes slightly smaller. That looks awesome. Even his ears looks a little different. So, I mean, I'm giving it that slight edge. And the light gray works really well with this figure. It looks really good. I love the dark gray. I do. But this light gray looks really damn good. So I'm gonna, since I feel this is the superior version over the original, I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. Now, do I suggest you buy it? I don't think so. If you already have the original Rebirth figure and you're comfortable with that, which is a fantastic figure, and I still have it, as you guys can see. If you already own the original Rebirth figure, there's no reason to pick up this figure. Especially, you don't need to pick up the 3-pack. Now, if you want to get the 3-pack, if you don't have Clayface and you don't have a Batwoman in your collection, then yes, get the 3-pack and get this Batman because he's in that 3-pack. But trying to seek this out as a single figure, unless you're a diehard Rebirth Batman fan like I am, then yeah, seek it out. See if you could. It's not easy to find because I had hell finding this figure. It's not easy to find, and people are not selling him for cheap. I mean, I didn't have to pay too high for him, but he's not easy to find. So if you can find him, if you are interested, if you're a big Rebirth nut like me, a fanatic, then yeah, I say go for it. But initially my thoughts are you don't need to pick up this figure. I don't think it's really necessary. Yes, the changes are better, and yes, this figure looks better, but it comes from a figure that's already great. And did they really need to remake this figure the way this figure is? I don't know. Maybe not. But I'm kind of glad they did because, like I said, the changes that they did make, I really like, and I like a lot. So that's my review. He gets 9.5 out of 10. Probably because I'm biased and probably because I'm a Batman Rebirth nut. So there you go. So hope you guys enjoyed this review. Sorry for it being so long. Sorry for all the rambling I did. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time. See ya. Because I'm Rebirth Batman. Bitch.